Good evening, Gooners. Welcome to In the North Bank. Pretty quick put together show. Just going through today's breaking news. I was traveling on the train when those three powerful words come across Twitter. Here we go. And I wanted to come live, but obviously phone signal and being on a train wasn't good. So so a little bit later there, for a breaking show, but it's given a nice bit of time to kind of digest the news, and actually ended up being a double. Here we go day. So before we move on, welcome to Mark. How are you doing? All right.
I'm good, bro. And it's good being back on a podcast with you. So yeah, I'm like good day all round. I think.
Yeah, no, I've been very busy boy, and feels like a road show this week. I've been here, there, and everywhere, and you wait to my story about Ireland, being and travelling around Ireland.
I don't think we
Covered
should
for
share
miles.
that. The podcast will be we
Yeah,
will
that
be
is enough.
shut
It is.
down.
It almost is. It almost is going to be another podcast. It literally could be. I just cut it short. I had a connection flight from Dublin over to Donegal, and we get up in the air. The pilot says, "We're just going to get up there and see what happens." And yeah, that really was quite assuring from a pilot. And then we started circling the airport and then getting lower. But then they turned back round to Dublin because they couldn't land because of the weather that had come in. So so I ended up about 12:30 getting into a hotel eventually, and supposed to have landed at 8 o'clock. So my evening meal should have been a tomahawk steak um, with the trimmings, and it turned out to be a tuna sandwich and a packet of crisps. So that was one of the days. But yeah, apart from that, everything else was all good. That was just one connection that went tits up, so to speak. But yeah, that's enough of that. That's let's move on. So look, massive news. I think from the club. Obviously, two confirmed signings, and Fabrizio, thank you for providing that proper. You know what I mean? The thing always, it's coming. It's like the oracle. Here we go. It's done. Um, just before we go into the first one, please get in the live chat. Let us know your thoughts. Which of the signings is kind of exciting you more? Um, what does it mean for us in this transfer window? Obviously, not our biggest signings, but what do they mean in the long term? Let us know in the chat, and we'll come back to it. So, Kepa Arrizabalaga. I'll have 2 pints, please. I think that's.
I'm glad that
I
you
mean,
pronounced his second name, mate. I just call him Kepa.
oh well, yeah. Look, I said it earlier on, and I was like, yeah, actually, it sounded quite good. Then all of a sudden, I kept on saying it. Was like, hang on a minute, this is the tongue twister. It's mad. And look at him, and you think about as a goalkeeper. And I know, look, we had the signing of Neto as a stopgap. Look, I don't think there was any kind of
Yeah.
danger that he'd be playing a lot of games. Yeah, obviously there are potential injury concerns with Raya, um, but the grand scheme of things, there was no harm really done, was there? Really, in all honesty, with that signing last year, it was a stopgap, and this opportunity coming along was probably one too good to kind of turn down from a backup goalkeeper. Um, I mean, what you look at? What just under 7 years ago, he's signed for just over 70 million by Chelsea. He's played he's had a total journey, hasn't he, Mark? Just in general, you look, he's gone to Madrid. He's had a little kind of resurgence after a drop off, I think, with Chelsea, wasn't it? And he kind of come in and had a good season. I think he got one of the kind of like the best save of the season or something, in that 22-23 season, and 9 clean sheets. But then, yeah, goes on loan to Real Madrid, picks up the La Liga title, gets Champions League winners medal, and ends up in Bournemouth to finish it off on loan. And yeah, back to good form and playing in the Premier League. What were your thoughts when well, it was about a couple of weeks ago the links started happening?
Yeah, for me, Paul, it's like first off, I've used just like Kepa for him. I watched him last season, and I was extremely impressed with him. And if I think if you could ever like look at a player where the price tag has just got to him and the pressure of that price tag's got to him, I would say it's Kepa. I think Chelsea paid that money for a reason. I don't think he's a flop or goalkeeper. I'm not saying that because he's coming to Arsenal. I think that his career is almost he's journeyed a bit, and that shouldn't have happened in his career. He was a very exciting young and up and coming goalkeeper. So for me, last season, I thought he was absolutely fantastic. I watched him against Arsenal. I watched him against other teams. Saves, composure. He seemed to be getting back to the form that you know. I believe I hope I'm right in this, and I'm not going to make a mug of myself that he's a double Champions League winner, which I think he won it with Chelsea and also Real Madrid.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, that side of it, Paul, was just absolutely fantastic. And without emptying my brain, it's good to get one up in Chelsea. You gave us like really dud players, and all of a sudden, we're filling important gaps in our side for £5 million. So, thank you very much. That's where
I mean, there
was
was a lot of the stuff, wasn't there, coming out from the Chelsea fans? They weren't happy whatsoever. I
we've
certainly
done
picked
them.
up on a
We've done
couple
them
of them.
over. We've done them
Yeah.
over, Paul.
So
Absolutely done them
yeah.
over.
So it's good to see. It's good to see. But yeah, look at the qualities, I suppose, for him. Yeah, like you said, shot stopping, I think, is one of his key attributes. And look, I think, God, blimey, I'm trying to think back to when it was. I think he actually got 90 odd plus saves in one season, which again I think it goes in. I think he goes into that save of the season in 22-23, I think it was. But there's something really good. Just thinking about him, and I said, look, I don't think he's coming in just as literally going to be like a Neto or whatever. I think there honestly is something now where he'll be guaranteed some game time, whether or not that's in some of those kind of lesser Champions League games in the league stage, as well as those domestic cup competitions. But yeah, distribution wise, sweeper keeper, kind of that ilk. I mean, potentially, it could be a real godsend. I think just to kind of keep the squad ticking over. And like I said, if anything does happen to Raya this season, and God willing, we don't need a goalkeeper injury to go on top of our injury record from this last season. But yeah, I think with the experience he's got, I think he could be very good just for us. And for £5 million, like you said, what on earth could you really buy for £5 million? Nowadays, in reality, it just wouldn't really be heard of. But as I said, that mentality, I think he's had lots of things, I suppose, through that period at Chelsea as well, where it weren't going so well, and he took a lot of flack. And then bearing in mind, obviously, it was a young keeper back then, and and he come into a new country and was getting pelters. You'd had people chucking the ball up in the air for high crosses coming in, and as a young goalkeeper, he was getting pelters because he was getting caught out on that side. So it'd be interesting to see how he develops. Obviously, it's not so much that he's going to develop because he is like 30 odd years old, but how does he fit in with Arteta? Obviously, being Spanish as well. What is his role going to be? And that'll be the thing to be looking at really. What do you see, or how do you see him being used?
I think it well, Paul. First and foremost, for me personally, Kepa coming into the side, I'm going to breathe a little slightly easier if anything does happen to Rhea than what it did last season, having freaking Neto there.
Yeah,
that was a horrendous signing, in my opinion, and for Arsenal standard, nothing against Neto, just it was a horrendous signing. But yeah, I think he will have to develop. Sweeper keeper, I can see it. Distribution, he will have to improve under Arteta. But I do see him getting more game time and giving Rhea more time off. So you're definitely going to see him in the FA Cup and in the Carabao Cup. And I also think that you will see him in certain games of the Champions League in the group stages, games like dead ringer games, etc. And I think it's actually a massive. This is just a pure plus. It ticks every boxes for me, Paul. I think he will get with the amount of games that are demanded of Arsenal, especially if you go deep into competitions.
Yeah.
He will get plenty of game time, and £5 million, mate. It's just seriously. It's like me meeting you for an Arsenal game and we're having a night out and I give you a tenner and say the whole night's paid. It's like crazy, like the money on this. So yeah, Paul, that's really where I'm at, and we've got not taken away from this podcast, but we have done the Dream Arsenal transfer windows, and it looks like we're going to sign Garcia for 26 million, who's obviously went on to Barcelona. So Arsenal, although that I don't put Kepa and Garcia in the same bracket, we've saved 21 million off of that transfer. And we know where that 21 million needs to be spent, Paul. There's not even any point in having a podcast on it because every Arsenal fan knows where that money needs to be spent. So this was like an
left back, wasn't
it?
Left back, wasn't it? Is that?
Yeah, no. I think
wrong position. Sorry.
No, I think it was Raheem Sterling back on loan again, maybe.
Is it? Oh, yeah, that's it. Yeah.
So that's where I'm at, Paul. I think this is oozing absolute sense, and I don't know if it's Berta that's came in and done this, and if it is, then absolutely brilliant. Like you've got the first massive tick, in my opinion. This is where our club needs to be, and what we're doing. And he's a massive improvement than what we had last season as a backup. Massive, beyond massive, honestly.
Yeah.
So for me, I'm not absolutely delighted, Paul. It's just I'm really genuinely freaking happy that we've signed him.
Yeah. No, I'm happy as well on that side because I say, look, 2 seasons ago we had 2 number ones, and they both want to play. Only one can play. We said goodbye to Ramsdale. Yeah, obviously quite an awkward thing because of how well he was liked as a character, and that's it. Naturally, just the way he was, really nice guy. But yeah, look, even he's come up when there's been links of him potentially going out on loan, um, or potentially a 20 million release clause, isn't there? So yeah, it was an interesting one. I was waiting for the rumours to potentially start coming out saying Arsenal could actually go and just get him back on loan, and suddenly there's no real kind of like hassle then, is there? You know what I mean? Just, you
Yeah,
bring him back, but you've then just made some money from Southampton, but then you've got him for a season, whatever. If that's where you want it to go, but obviously if there wasn't such an option as Kepa coming in for 5 million, um, but yeah, that whole Garcia thing was look that's my one doubt is yeah, last season it could have been different because they might have allowed him to go. It might be that at that point, but then when this everything started circling around, look, if Chesney said I'll stay for a year, then it wouldn't have happened. But
yeah,
Chesney said he's I think he's just retired again, isn't he? Or he's not obviously carried on. So yeah, they need a goalkeeper, and look, I don't know where they're getting their money from still now, when considering they're in dire straits, but they always do it. I mean, both teams,
yeah.
and it's like it's crazy.
Paul, they'll
Um,
still be trying to register them in 2 months' time from now.
but yeah, yeah, let's drop
That's the
someone
thing
else
of
to try and register it.
yeah, it's
But
crazy.
it's mad. But there's no doubts about Kepa coming in as number one, is there?
Nah, Kepa is never going to come in to be number one. I think Rea is the guy. It's obvious. Golden Glove winner 2 seasons
Mm,
in a row since he came to Arsenal. He's also injuries to the Arsenal squad, and he's still winning that award. More than likely, he'll win it again next year. When hopefully, if we do get the right squad depth in the squad and the injury impact's not as bad. Um, I don't think personally, and it is personal. It's just a feeling for
yeah,
me, but I don't think that there's absolutely any chance that he could come in and take over from Rea. But however, sorry, I've got my son along, so I'm speaking a bit Dundonian, so I do apologise for that. I'm noticing myself that I'm doing it. I do think that there's he'll bring a wealth of experience to the likes of Setford, um, Carl Hein. I'm going to be interested to see what happens with him now as well. I don't know if
yeah. The
Arsenal
rumours that he's
release.
going.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's a good
there's rumours he's
possibility.
going on loan somewhere. Or
I
yeah,
don't.
I don't know.
I'll be interested if that'll be a one day or if it'll be sold. But Kepa will
Yeah,
bring in his experience, and Kepa's experience have been so highs and also lows. Paul, he's won the
yeah,
Champions
yeah,
League twice, and then he's went through the torment of like being like one of the worst goalkeeper signings in history, and then he's came back again up the other way. So
yeah. That's why I
that
said the
is.
mentality. It's a proper bounce back story.
Yeah,
That's
a million, a million, and you put that mentality into the young goalkeepers that are there. Paul, this is like this signing just makes so much sense for me.
yeah, yeah. No, definitely, mate. I do look at it. And I think it's very smart business. And yeah, look, we're only going to see once the season starts, and I think it will be good. And like I said, he's in early as well, and you'll see him in
Mm,
pre-season. And but I tell you what, the one thing it will do, it will sharpen up David Raya as well, because
yeah,
again, you look at competition for places. Are you getting a little bit samey? Is it kind of just you're getting a little bit easy, and yeah, there's no kind of competition there. So if he sees someone chomping at the bits, kind of come in on the sideline, that's going to focus him a little bit, I think, on that side. Not that he needs much more focusing. I think it's been very good. I think yeah, look, you have the odd moment with the whole risk reward way of Arsenal playing out from the back. Yeah, you're always going to get that, no matter who you've got in there. But yeah, if you don't try those kind of passes to split the lines, then yeah, you're not going to get anywhere, or certainly get past the lines with the press. So yeah, I think it will sharpen him, and I think it'll be good. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. On that side, I'm just going to pop into the chat before we carry on, Mark. A few people to say hello to. Ange, hit the like. Worn out and all sounds. Ange, keep drinking. Hello, Ange. We've got a new viewer. Ace. Hello, guys. I just joined now. Retroholic. How are you doing, young man? Yeah, we've got Kepa. Hope you don't start. Then try take him off. What's going on? Am I?
No, it's not your wine, mate. We got Kepa. Get hope he don't start, then try him off through he won't move. I think everybody's drinking retro. That does sound like you've been drinking a bottle of wine.
I've been drinking. Yeah.
Jesus, Paul, I'm going to have one as well, so I can start reading them.
I know. That's 2 out of the 3. Yeah, look, sport back as well.
Sportsback's my guy. Big up.
There's definitely squad depth signings. We still need those star signings to get across the line. Yeah, we'll go into those. I think that like I said, they are fillers, aren't they? He's watching from Poland. So yeah, hope you're enjoying it, and good to see you and have you on board. Retro again. Yeah, Leon got relegated, but Barca, Real Madrid, and Man United can all be excess of 1 billion in debt at all times. Yeah, it is a joke. UEFA, it's pure corruption. Yeah, it's another podcast, isn't it? It's again, there's ways of just getting around the whole kind of PSR and the whole kind of sustainability stuff. It is totally another conversation on that side, but yeah, the Spanish ones have got through, haven't they? They've gone through the whole kind of bankrolled by the Spanish, the banks and the government and whatever. It's somehow they end up all rosy. There was a time when they were talking about Barcelona being like totally, they're just going to be wiped out. Couldn't afford to keep Messi, couldn't afford to do this, and it was like, then all of a sudden they've assembled one of the most sought after young squads. Yeah, I mean, you look at them.
It's crazy.
It's madness. It is mad, but I don't know. That's another podcast. Next one, Christian Nørgaard. Welcome to the Arsenal. And it was in the afternoon, wasn't it? I got that little alert come through, wasn't it?
It was out of nowhere. Yeah, it was afternoon. It was just like he's already told Brentford he doesn't want to play for them again. He wants Arsenal, and bang, it's done.
It happened so quick as well, because that only filtered out. I think yesterday. That kind of interest.
Hear it yesterday.
No, I heard it a little. I heard a rumor about like late last night, yesterday, like when I was in the airport. I'm sure it was, unless it was the Guinness. Yeah, no, I'm sure it was last night. Yeah, it wasn't the fact I had too many Guinnesses.
Are you sure?
But I can't be sure to be sure. But yeah. So look, let's recap on him. Just in general, 122 Premier League appearances for Brentford. Brentford's captain for the last couple of years, and obviously Danish international. Most tackles in the Premier League in 21-22. Over 300 tackles, 200 plus interceptions. 12 assists, 11 goals as well. So what are we getting?
You're getting an all-round player, still capable of playing football for me. Not injured very often. Also, you could add that into the list, and I remember his goal against Arsenal last season, which he like really annoyed me. But out with that, what we're getting is an upgrade. I think we're getting an upgrade on Jorginho. And not taking anything away from J20 at all. He's my guy, and it was the best £11 million signing that Arsenal ever made, in my opinion. But we're getting exactly that again. This guy brings wealth of experience. He is going to be a squad player. He's not going to come in to start games. Yes, he will, with his experience, Premier League proven, may help settle Zubimendi coming into the Premier League from the Spanish League. But he is there to be Jorginho, and that is it for me, Paul. So again, Thomas Partey's went off, but I do want to touch on that. I do want to touch on Thomas Partey. Thomas Partey's went off. Yeah, we will. I'll come back to that. But just to keep it on Nørgaard, he's for me, he's an all-round player, mate. And yeah, personally, I think that he could do an absolutely brilliant job for the next 2-3 years minimum. I think that you could have a slightly older age with him. And it's another Jorginho. It's just a brilliant sign by Arsenal. Again, I think it's just a brilliant backup. So we are not playing with players every 90 minutes of every 60 games in a season that we've got to do. We could go out and sign another DM or lefty, if you want to call it that, for 50-60 million. But again, Arsenal fans are not going to get what they want. And that's the top targets in the left wing and up front. So for me, if Arsenal are doing this very, very clever, I honestly, I'm actually was really happy. It brought a massive smile to my face today. Both of these signings, Paul, they just make so much sense for our football club.
Yeah. I mean, look just in general, when I was kind of unofficially writing my shopping list for my dream kind of team.
You're coming on for that, by the way. You're coming on for that. You got a cheat code because you've got Kepa for £5 million now. So
I look at it and I say, look, you dot down all the positions that you think we should kind of improve, and then you look at the amount of money that we need to spend on those. And yeah, like I said, we'll go into the Partey side of things, but again, he was one player I'd said that we could not afford to lose as a player in that squad, just because it's a position we have to try and then fill with quality. But as I say, I'll go into that afterwards. But yeah, I see him as an interesting one. As I say, I think there's a bit of tenacity about him as well. I think there's a little bit of a fight in him, and again, sometimes look, even though we've improved from that soft kind of label that we get, or we have had, I feel that he might be one of those kind of players that will give us a little bit more steel whenever he plays as well. So. Yeah, I don't think he's obviously going to be that starter. I don't think he is that kind of replacement for, say, a Partey. But yeah, like I say, we needed to replace Jorginho, and yeah, if we can kind of rotate a bit better going into this season. Don't get me wrong, I don't think the rotation was massively bad last season. I think it improved massively from the two previous seasons. It was just the injuries caused kind of certain decisions to be kind of stuck to, and those kind of players. Had we actually had a full kind of squad, you probably would have started seeing those kind of rotations a bit more. But because again, it is down to trust, and it is down to can they carry out Arteta's plans. and does he feel confident in doing it, or allowing him to do it? That's where it is. But yeah, I think for getting two players in for 18 million, again, it's about that, isn't it? It's around about no. 16 to 18. I imagine there's some kind of performance bonuses in there or something like that alongside that. So, yeah, no, I think it'd be nice to see now, and it'll be interesting to see what happens with this whole Declan Rice situation now. Who is that player that is going to be that DM? Who's going to fill that void of Thomas Partey? It's a conundrum for him, and I'm not saying that we've finished in the slightest transfer activity wise. Certainly in that position, like I said. But as I say, interesting just to see how he links up with Rice, Odegaard, and how Arteta sees him. I think that is it. Yeah, where do you think he'd play? Would you still say he'd come in as the deeper one, or would he play on the left?
No, I am 100%. I've always said that like Declan Rice is my lefty. He's Granit Xhaka's replacement. It's his best position. And Arsenal fans will hate me for it, and I've had arguments, beyond arguments regarding this on podcast basis, etc. We need just that DM in there 6. Declan can play there. Does a brilliant job there. He's absolutely fantastic. However, that lefty, we need to get our guy smashing ball in off of free kicks like he did against Real Madrid. We need that around the box, that kind of ball striking. We know he's capable. He'll take Arsenal over the line from the goals from midfield. He's your, I don't know, like Gerrard Lampard player for me, and I just want him to be that, Paul. So,
yeah.
So Nørgaard, for me, is definitely a backup to Zubimendi. Zubimendi is my 6. Nørgaard can start the season to let Nørgaard just find his feet and come in. He's a massive talent. Every team's wanted him. He's been linked to Bayern Munich, Real Madrid, Liverpool's, etc. He chose Arsenal Football Club. And I love that. I actually love that somebody says, I want to go there. So yeah, that's kind of where I see it, Paul. Without touching on Thomas Partey again, I think it's Partey and Jorginho needed replaced, and we've done it with a 31-year-old in Nørgaard that brings experience, and we've brought it in with Zubi. That is the future Arsenal Football Club.
Yeah, no, well said. I think we might as well just move on to, I suppose, the squad building. Look, experience and the value of those two players. Is that a shift in our approach from the youthful kind of profile that we set up, didn't we? And again, it's one of those where we're always kind of targeting that kind of that young kind of bracket, hungry. Are we seeing potentially a change in that kind of approach? Is there a shift?
No,
or is it just?
There's not. It's Arsenal, and this is what I love, and I'm hoping I'm right. And if I'm wrong, then I'm going to be absolutely freaking annoyed at Arsenal, and I'm going to be ripping them all summer, even worse than I did when it was Raheem Sterling. We are being very clever, very fucking clever in what we're doing, and I think we're filling voids in our squad with experience that's needed, and they're good players. These aren't shit players. They're good players, and the real money's away to be spent, but that's going to come at the end of the transfer window. So I think normally we spent 27 million for Zinchenko as a left back, nothing against Zinny. We've spent like I can't remember what it was. Some similar for Ramsdale as a goalkeeper. All of a sudden, Arsenal are not doing it anymore. We're putting small fees out, replacing certain. We need 5 players minimum this transfer window. 5 minimum.
Yeah.
It could be 6. And we've still got all the money to spend because we've only brought in, apart from Zubimendi, that's like obviously that is on
High purchase.
installments. Yeah, it's installments. So apart from Zubimendi, the other 2 signings were filled 2 voids, and it's time. We've always been promised the gold dust, and Paul, I'm actually really excited. I actually think Arsenal this season are the way to do it. This summer transfer window are the way to do it. So I'm pumped up for it. I'm put the gold dust on top of this squad. This squad and Arteta achieved so much last season, and people could disagree with me and come at me at the chat if you disagree. He achieved so much with a depleted squad, and so come at me. If you get him the gold dust on top of this pot, we are fucking close, mate. I'm telling you, we are fucking close.
We just talked about that left 8, and we talked about that. And it's been the perennial kind of issue is the whole kind of that left side, and we know we've had massive, and this is why we're obviously in for that kind of that left winger. Look, Martinelli, there's rumours potentially he could be sold. You've got Trossard again. No one really took the mantle and took their chances when they were given that starting berth. You always seem to be. It would always be the one that come off the bench for impact would be the one that would come off with the eye-catching performance of that game.
Yeah.
No one come in and was say given that starting lineup place and then smashed it through the game and then got taken off just to kind of ease up. It's normally you come in, and it was both of them. With Martinelli start, all of a sudden it's not really a lot going on. Trossard comes on, goal, and it'll be the other way around. It'll be or whatever. It's it's one of those, and you're suddenly thinking, well, if we do have Rice in there, we've got someone with proper substance and end product. I tell you what, that could be one hell of a kind of like link up if we get that right, and then even that striker as well, just to kind of link up in that kind of that little triangle, which obviously they'll be working towards to kind of get around the box. To create things. But look, we've been so long going on the right-hand side with Saka, with Odegaard, and again, you need that respite. Just like I talk about the inverted fullbacks, rather than just having that inverted fullback on the left-hand side, why can't we just mirror it and have that kind of player that would then tuck in? And yeah, we have done it on times with Timber, and then even Thomas Partey when he come in. Your favourite kind of time when you put Thomas Partey on right back, like a few other supporters. It's one of those. Look, there's good positivity. I think just in the group. I think just in general, and I think look, if we're being linked with a player such as Rodrigo, look, Nico Williams is done. I'll go into that kind of whole mentality thing a little bit later. But building depth for 4 competitions, it's a no-brainer. And again, preserving that budget for those big deals that need to happen. And I'm interested. And we haven't even talked about anyone being sold yet.
I know.
And this is what I'm saying. That obviously, if we've got this kind of money coming back, and then we're potentially looking at letting others go, and this is why I said because the amount of people that are actually going as well, why 5 would be a minimum to come in. Because again, when we talk about creating a 25-man squad, and this is why I've said about Arteta and his 5-year plan and trying to raise the ceiling, raise the floor, of the existing group, when you're still losing 4 or 5 players a season as well as then getting in what you've got in, the numbers haven't actually improved. As in, you're looking at, say, 2 starting lineups like others have done, like City, what we've been up against. And this is the issue that we've got, and it's almost like we need one window where we suddenly are signing players like, well, not like anything, but we just don't want to be just like literally just do a Chelsea and scattergun the whole of Europe, and just suddenly have the largest academy going. It's gonna take a big push now, and I think like I said, the big deals are going to come in that latter stage. I think there's been a lot of high balling as well from other clubs. There's been a lot of tactics to try and get other teams, other clubs involved in signing the players. It obviously works in their favour because it's going to drive up their prices. That's to their, I mean, it's going to help them on that side, and it's so. Yeah, disappointed, but with some of the stuff. But we might as well look. Let's talk about that striking bit just for now.
Mm-hmm.
And Sesko, Gyökeres, and then you're looking at this and you're seeing one agent being very forward-footed in the media, releasing lots of stuff out to the media, and then I don't know. You've got that was Sesko. Then you've got Gyökeres coming out, and he obviously has been told someone, and I don't know. There's a lot of talk going on about he was promised X and Y to kind of go next season, and that hasn't been done. Then you've got the chairman of the club saying, "Oh yeah, we want more." It's like I don't know what are your thoughts on those two? And you look at the Nørgaard reaction and the wanting to sign for Arsenal.
Yeah.
When does it get to a point where you suddenly say, actually, no thanks?
Right, okay, that's absolutely bang on. I think both players want to sign for Arsenal. Gyökeres is actually, like as you said, he's came out and he's told Sporting, I understand why Sporting done it, but he's came out and said, I'm not playing for you again, I'm not training again. PR basically, we had agreement and you're not standing up to it. So that's there. Sesko, on the other hand, the reports that I've seen, it's all agent talking, everybody talking, trying to get the valuation, money coming up, etc. I think, again, Leipzig have not got many assets in their team. So they need to either cash on, I think it's Simmons, I think that's one of the assets, or is Sesko. And that's all they've got. So these teams, it could be another 5 years before another player comes through that they can produce to sell on to get this kind of money from. So of course, they're going to maximise it. I mean, that's all seriousness. It's like, I don't know, is at this moment in time, if someone came around and said, we're going to give you 40 million for Saliba, we'd all be pissed off. We'd be saying, had 100 mil on top of that, and then you've got an argument. So I understand where the clubs are coming from. The noise at the camp, I'm not listening to them, Paul, because these noises are generated from media and also agents and clubs, certain clubs, to raise valuation and interest in a player. So with that question you asked, that's my take on it. You tell me who I want. You tell me who I want to sign. If you ask me, Sesko is a fucking cheat code for the Premier League.
Yeah.
We say Sesko, we win the Premier League. I want him over Gyökeres by a mile.
Is it too much to ask that? Obviously, a lot of the conversation is we're keeping the irons hot on both of them, just in case one goes. There's no chance that we're going to go for both, are there?
Well, Des mentioned this on a podcast, and I said, "You greedy bastard." Is it possible? I don't freaking know. Is it possible when you've got right? So let's like try and rationalise this for a second, right? Because Des actually brought this up, and I went straight for him and said, "You greedy bastard! We've not had a striker since the Aubameyang, and all of a sudden you're trying to sign fucking 2 in one window." Sorry for my language. It's just like, can Arsenal do that?
But this was my dream window. This is what I said. Yeah, all right. I chucked in Isak as well. But
so you went Isak. So you went for 3. You're even
that's being totally greedy. But that was my 40-man squad before I actually take it all
Chelsea.
down. But
break it down. You broke nothing down, by the way.
Yeah, totally Chelsea. Yeah, all on 8-year, 10-year contracts. It's done. But I looked at it. I think they both can play on the left hand side, can't they? Or
I want Rodrigo. So if you say one of them plays on the left hand side,
no, but I'm saying I don't think they've both kind of played, or they could go on the left hand side as as playing down the middle. So when you look at it like that, there is a potential. Obviously, the system only warrants, say, that one up front. Well, we think that anyway. I don't know if Arteta's going to throw another spanner in the works or have a little change in his system, but yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what he does.
But can you get Paul? Serious question to you, right? Your season ticket holder, you support Arsenal since you were a kid. Can you honestly see a world of Havertz, Jesus, Sesko, and Gyökeres at the football club all at the same time?
No, but I will see. I'm pretty certain Jesus will be gone.
But he can't go until January. I think it's January before he's going to be back from his injury.
Well, yeah, but as I said, it's one of those, isn't it? I don't know. I would say I'd say whoever you get in, even if you get like a Rodrigo or whatever. If Rodrigo isn't available and Madrid say no, we're not going to get rid of him, then we've still got to fill that void. Obviously, Nico Williams would have been that other main choice. That's no longer.
Yeah.
Then you're suddenly thinking, well, look, hang on a minute. We've had good negotiations with both of these. I mean, again, I don't think these players should be totally. And this is where I go with regards to the attitude and stuff. I want to sign for Arsenal. I don't care so much about, say, the money. I don't want to go, yeah, all right, I want to try and highball it and say, go for the money. But I'm just going to sign. What are you offering? I'll sign it. I won't be trying to go and push for more wages. I'm a relatively unknown kind of player in the grand scheme of things. I'm now going to a massive club, Arsenal. Yeah, this is then the stepping stone. You now prove to us what you can do. Then bang, there you go. There's your renewal. There's your new terms. You've done it. You've shown it. Don't start demanding it before you even sign. This is the issue with Gyökeres. Obviously, being Coventry, wasn't it?
Yeah. No, 100%.
It's a gamble. It's always a gamble, and I think the only player that we could sign that would not be a gamble at this present time would be Isak. But the only part of the gamble for Isak would be his fitness.
Yeah, no, 100%. But the numbers for Isak are like absolutely. It's just stupid. It's off the scale.
Oh, no, it's bonkers. The money wise. So it would then mean how much does Isak want to move away or say come to Arsenal? That would be the only way that you would then get that value snowballed or brought down.
I
At the
actually
minute.
think that I do think there's a world out there where you can sign a Sesko and a Gyökeres for the same money as getting an Isak.
Mm. Yeah, well, like I said, I think if you keep those irons hot and you keep going, keep pushing and sticking to your guns, and I said, look, I respect Arsenal on that side. Look, you look at valuations, look at Mudryk, and you look at that valuation. We could have easily gone and suddenly said, oh yeah, we'll pay, we want him, and we'll pay. Obviously,
Yeah,
great dodge on that side, but yeah, you have a value, you go to it, stick to it. The window is still open for a long time. It's we've not even started releasing players yet from contracts, so um, we're yeah, it's on the cards to kind of get sorted. And like I said, we got good relationships with both clubs in that side, but again, yeah, it is about driving the interest up, and those clubs want to create that bidding war. But it's not good for us as fans because, yeah, you do get frustrated. All you keep having is these kind of things just thrown in front of you. Yeah, the media get hold of them as well, and they start trying to throw it at you. And yeah, Arsenal don't want to do this, don't want to do that. And so, well, look, why do we need to do this? Why, or even fans, why do we need to go and spend all this money right now on this player, and they're all on holiday at the minute? And it's like, well, let's. Yeah, I don't know. It's
I
a
just
hard one, isn't it?
do you know what, Paul? See, like, see if you look at the cycle of how to sign a player, the cheaper ones are the easy ones to do, and they get done very early in the transfer window. And
Yeah,
then you get the ones like, I'm going to swear again on the podcast, Raheem Sterling, where it's a panic signing that you get on the final day of the transfer window because you didn't bring anyone in, and you've got the big marquee ones. If you look at the likes of Ozil, Aubameyang, Sanchez, I believe all these deals were done at the very end of the transfer window.
yeah,
And there's a reason for it because they're such hard deals to actually do. So fair play to Arsenal got like three players they're not announced. I think Zubimendi is a marquee signing, by the way. Personally, I think he is personally an absolute marquee signing. Then we filled in two gaps in the squad with quality players, by the way. I'm not dissing them. I'm not saying they're not going to be marquee, they're not going to get us excited. But then we have to wait for that final push, and that's not going to happen tomorrow, mate. It's like, yeah, if you go and buy a house, are you just like, yeah, I want that house, I'll just go and spend 250,000 or 500,000 on this house tomorrow? No, you're not. You're going to do your due diligence. I can't even say that properly, but you're going to do that, Paul, and you're not going to rush into the fact of actually doing it. And
yeah,
there's always a like when we signed Aubameyang, there was a pod of reactions at that point. Giroud had to sign for Chelsea. The Chelsea player had to go to AC Milan or Italy. What was his name? I can't remember his name. No, he went to Dortmund, I think, and then we got Aubameyang before he went over to Italy. It was the Chelsea player
right.
that went there. There was a three-way swing in it. These deals are not easy to do, mate. They're not easy to do at all, and the money and the figures that are involved are like absolutely freaking insane. So there could be like a snowball effect here where you see the likes of Trossard, for instance, if we take it away from the strikers, but you can see a Trossard going to Saudi or another team, Arsenal getting the money from there, freeing up his wages, or you can see Martinelli going to Bayern Munich or other clubs that you've seen links going out there. And at that point, all these, when there'll be other teams doing switches as well, replacing them, and then Arsenal will be able to bring in Rodrigo. Like there's more to it than just saying Yep, we'll pay the 80 million. Yep, we'll pay your wages. There's a hell of a lot more to it. Clubs will not leave themselves vulnerable. So these deals are not easy. They take time. Arsenal have got the easy business done early. Glad of that. I remember the transfer windows when we signed Peter Cech and no one else, and we were desperate for players. So yeah, for me, I'm excited, Paul. I actually think something's cooking. I think something's cooking, mate. If I'm being perfectly honest.
Yeah, I think it was the player that started following Arsenal. Was it Sesko? They have all that now. That
Yeah,
starts off the old. Then it's going
yeah,
to be
yeah.
it's going to be tracking planes, and
Yeah,
this
yeah.
is yeah.
Don't waste your mental health, guys. If you're actually please don't say don't waste your mental health checking. Have Arsenal signed Sesko tomorrow? Why have they signed Odegaard? Why have we not got Sesko? Why have we not got Gyökeres? Where are these guys?
Yeah,
Just chill and just let it play out. But I can tell you from past experience of being an Arsenal fan for many years that Paul, personally, I just think this needs time to hit, and I'm sure you would say the same.
yeah, yeah. Look, say I think it's gonna go to the wire, and as I said, yeah, all these other clubs as well have also got to find their targets or get their targets. So it is it's going to be it's a long process, but I'm
I saw
sure it'll come
reports
good.
today that Sporting have pinpointed it came from Fabrizio, a Colombian striker to replace him. So they've already gave in that he's gone, and now Shocker is pushing from his angle. Um, I don't know if there's, I don't even want to think if there's a dream window where you could actually get Sesko and Gyökeres at the club. I'm not building my hopes up that much, mate. I just want
No,
Sesko. If I got Gyökeres, it's just like, seriously, it's like asking for your dream meal and the barmaid comes out or the waitress comes out and she serves you your steak or whatever it's going to be, your big T-bone steak and all the rest of it, and then you're now telling me that she has to be topless coming out to do the exact same thing. I don't think that's a possible scenario, mate. I think that's well, maybe I'm just wishing out like a
yeah,
football bastard.
I'll temper it down a little bit. I'll say, yeah, I'll take one of them. It's fine. Um, yeah, I don't know. It would be nice though. Four competitions and then having two really good
But you
signings
can't
to
keep
come
them.
alongside.
You can't keep them happy, Paul. That's the issue.
No, well, that's the end thing. Again, look, the other thing as well is look, if it doesn't work out and you can't get Mappy, at least they're going to have value still. Um, that's I think that's the only thing you can kind of hold on to it really on that side. Um, but yeah, look, you've got Havertz again. It'll be interesting to see how he gets utilised, whether or not he's still going to be doing kind of what he has been doing, or potentially does he go into the midfield again? We don't know. I'm
I think
guessing
he's
I'm
a
guessing he's
10,
going to.
Paul. I want him
Yeah,
to be the 10. I want him to be the 10. I saw the best partnership, right? And sorry, I'm just like I'm doing me, my son and stuff, so sorry for having my camera off. But I saw the best partnership in like world football. Honestly, and it really was. And it was in Scotland. And it was Mark Haley,
I think choice.
English, English prick, and also Ali McCoist up top. And you had Big Mark Haley just knocking that ball on. Flick-ons, etc. And like what these two guys produced were unbelievable, and both of them had amazing careers. They had it in England, they had it in Scotland, they also had it in France as well. They had absolutely amazing careers. Um, for me, I can see Kai Havertz being that guy. I can see him being the Mark Haley of Rangers at that point, and that's kind of like where I am. It's almost I've always seen the Kai Havertz as a 9.5. He's not a 9 and he's not a 10. He's just somewhere in between that role. So I think Kai is a massive part in that. Do I want to see him playing lefty? No, I don't. I really don't. I don't think an Arsenal fan wants to see that. But going back, Paul, my cheat code is we had 14 draws last season. We could not break down low blocks. So my cheat code is you've got Sesko up top, 6'5". You've got Kai Havertz on the pitch playing the role that I'm explaining. And then you have Mourinho coming off the bench. Maybe Declan Rice drops off. He comes off the bench, gets into the box as well. And then you have the 22 crosses that we've produced in a game odd times against these low block teams. How many of the 14 draws are actual draws anymore? These guys are scoring goals. It is an absolute freaking cheat code. And I don't play FIFA, but if I did, that would be my lineup. That would be my lineup.
I think it'll be interesting to see how he does, and does he tweak formation a little bit to kind of get the players in and around.
Yeah. Do you know what I think? Paul. I honestly, I really do think that he does need to. And the one thing that I do want to see is different options. I want to see, and it's not because I'm a Scotsman. He's obviously Kieran Tierney's left. But I want to see a Lewis Kelly that can invert into the midfield from the left-hand side. But I also want to have a Kieran Tierney on a left back that could overlap and do your old-fashioned football. And also support on the left-hand side to create crosses. I want that option. And I want the option of Ben White and Timber on the right-hand side. But I also...
we had this, didn't we? We had Ben White marauding through, going wide, and then bombing on. Kieran Tierney done. I remember what was the game? It was in Europe. Was it in Europe? No. Was it in Europe or was it in the? It was an away game. But literally, I don't know if it was Brentford. But he literally was bombing up the wing. He must have had. Yeah, I think it was Brentford. And he had about 12. It almost broke a record, I think, for the amount of crosses that didn't go to anyone. I think he had about 13, 14 crosses in the game. And I think the last cross that he'd done actually fell to a player that then put it wide or into the side netting. And you look at it like that. And if you're inverted on the right-hand side, you've then got the Ben White on the left-hand side. Well, Kieran Tierney.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And I think that's a versatility that Arteta needs to, like, this is what I really want him to be able to do. I thought Arsenal played better on the days of Granit Xhaka, where we were inverting on the right-hand side, and Ben White was actually inverting at that point. And on the left-hand side, we had Kieran Tierney. And the left-hand side balance was actually just as good as the right-hand side balance. And we've not found that again. So I know football evolves, but for me personally, sorry, I keep saying but, it's a Dundee thing, and my son's here, so I'm speaking Dundonian. I honestly want to see these options. So Arteta during the game can sit back and say, right, this is how about we try this? I want to make teams guess, Paul. I think that's what I'm trying to say. I want to make teams guess. And if we're just going to invert left and right, and we'll be so predictable, and we'll get even more draws next season. So yeah.
Yeah, I think draws are a massive thing. Like I said, then that is small margins, isn't it? It's just, if we can take one of those chances or whatever that we create or whatever, certainly get into those positions and actually make that telling contribution, then great. But yeah, I just think, look, that Tierney, I think just in general, it was just, again, those injuries that just really curtailed that kind of belief, I suppose. And again, as a manager, you've got to believe in your players. And again, if you haven't really got that confidence or belief that that player can do what you want him to do with potentially without kind of going again,
Yeah.
yeah, that's where the problem lies, I think, on that side. Um, yeah, we might as well finish on Thomas Partey.
Yep.
And I said earlier on, and I said about the mentality and the want to do it, and you look at the whole thing with regards to Thomas Partey, the alleged stuff that's happened, and how the club have backed him and supported him, and yeah, probably taken a lot of flack for it. Whether or not, obviously, it's been proved as a non-case. I'm not going to get into that side of things, but when you look at it and you think he's had this good year last season, fitness wise. Obviously, with obviously 2 or 3 poor ones, fitness wise. Why? And again, it's easy to suddenly say about look, how much do you want to play for Arsenal?
Yeah.
And this is my problem with so as soon as a player starts saying I want X and I want to push it on. I want to do this. Yeah, obviously it's because obviously offers have come in. Probably it's the agent's probably been touting him around. But again, you look at it. Do you want to play for Arsenal or not? Look, it is what it is, isn't it? But you look at it. As soon as that comes out, and then suddenly the guy's demanding this or the agent's demanding this. I'm sorry, it don't matter who you are. I'll be like, see you later. I said it was a position. I said earlier, it's a position we couldn't afford to really lose a player. But again, if there's no chance that he will follow what we're trying to do, yeah, he wants to improve his wages and handsomely improve them, then sorry, it's not at that moment. What were your thoughts on him going?
Do you know what? First and foremost, Paul, there's like there's two comments on this. The first one being, it's funny that Thomas Partey got into his final year of his contract and he was fit. That
Yeah,
is like that's a red alert for me. And the second point is, if Thomas Partey had been fit at any given stage, um, we would won 2 Premier League titles because he was injured that much. So, Thomas, you owe me 2 Premier League titles. I'm quite angry at him. I understand the fact that he's now at an age and it's his last contract, last big move. I imagine he'll go back to Spain. You imagine he'll go back to Barcelona or something like that. But out with that, do you know what? It's like good fucking riddance. Seriously, if you were professional enough all the way through your career, the allegations wouldn't have been there. You would have been the player that we know that you would have been. And
yeah,
thirdly, I would have had 2 Premier League titles, and you cheated me out with that, mate, because you were on the fucking treatment table. And the club, and the people forget, right? And I hope people from Africa are watching this. Jump in and come at me on this. But no club in the world should ever send a club doctor away with a player on international duty. Arsenal had to do that. Arsenal had
yeah,
to send their club doctor with him to make sure that he was professional and everything was okay when he was away. Who does that? It's honestly, it's
it, the whole issue with him and his injuries. Obviously, before we signed him, he had no injury problems, and it was only then, and you then question: is it our setup? Is it the way? Is it the way we are setting up the players and preparing the players and the programs that we're putting on for him? Is it too much for him? Can he not handle this higher intensity Premier League compared to La Liga, week in, week out. And it almost seems like it's taken us 3 years, or the club it's taken 3 years to get a grip of Thomas Partey's body
Yeah,
and working out what we could do. It was almost like, yeah, we've worked it out and we've kept him on a regime or whatever. It's worked, and he stayed fit for. I think he was. I think he had. Did he have a week out or something like that, or did he play?
yeah. It was something like that, Paul. But
Yeah, a
like,
few days.
but that comes down to him. But do you know what? Arsenal have got the data, so good luck to Barcelona if they do sign him.
Yeah,
Arsenal have got the data. Thomas Partey will not have the data. His agent will not have the data. So good luck trying to keep him fit. But I understand from Thomas's point, it's his last contract. This is his last contract before he goes to Saudi to get money. And so fair play to him on that for trying to get as much as he can. But for me personally, I actually think he's let Arsenal down massively.
yeah. I look at it. I think again, and you do think, yeah, look how close they are, and you're suddenly thinking, look, can I give something else? Can I do it? And you suddenly say, well, look, I don't think the contract itself would be too disrespectful to him. I think just in general, I don't think Arsenal would do that.
No.
I look at it. I look at the injuries and whatever like that, and yeah, look, sometimes they can't be helped. I mean, the time I remember flipping, he was off injured against Tottenham, and then Arteta trying to push him back on the pitch, and they went and scored, didn't they? I think when he was off the pitch.
Yeah.
And you look at it, yeah, you can't help those things. Certainly muscle wise, yeah, need to get a grip of why it's happening. And I think this year they seem to have got a grip. Don't forget, we also then didn't we have the club doctor that went to Man United?
Yeah, Gary Driscoll.
He then went off. But yeah, you look at it like that. We've finally got a grip of it. And then he's basically said, yeah, I want a handsome improved contract. It's like, well, come on, if you'd given us those numbers for the whole of your contract, yeah, come knocking and say you want that. Yeah, if you played 90% of the games every
Yeah.
single year of that contract that you've just had, you come at me now and say, yeah, I want improved terms, and I'll be saying, all right, yeah, fair enough. But
100%. You've
I
got
think
to see.
the thing what put nail in the coffin, and again, I talk about trust as well with Arteta. When you go back to that Real Madrid game and you look at the reaction of Declan Rice when Partey got booked for getting involved in something he didn't need to get involved with,
Yeah.
that was another moment where I feel he let the club down, let his teammates down, let the fans down, just in general. Yeah, look, first leg against PSG. Yeah, look, we were dealt with a poor hand anyway with Gabriel being out injured before that, and yeah, him not being in that midfield, I don't think PSG would have scored after 3 minutes.
No, absolutely. And that's a game
I
changer.
look at it like that, and I think that was the fine margin from us going through or going out as we did. I think that side of things, I don't think we would have lost that game. I don't think we'd have conceded after 3 minutes, and I think we would have seen more of a game like we did away from home, where we did play a very good game. And yeah, all right, we did lose 3-1, but in general,
It's a game changer, is it? You're right, it is a game changer. We had a podcast on this, and I argued the case that like every player has to go for every challenge. So I didn't want to be up on Thomas for that, but I think Thomas been there. But I think, and again, but it's a great point that you're pulling up, Paul, because I actually think that again, it's just another example of Thomas letting us down. It's another example of it. And now he's coming out with high wages. Get it to fuck me. Honestly, I do not give a flying shit if he signs for fucking Tottenham. Like, go and do what you've got to do. You owe me 2 Premier League titles. You are an amazing player. You could have been that player. There's nobody doubting your talent. Your professionalism is absolutely dog shit. And so for me, like, goodbye. I was going to get rid of him 2 years ago. Last season, he did give me a season. Fair play to him. But the Thomas Partey chapter is going to be reminded as a player that just let Arsenal Football Club down. Because he did not give us what we know he's capable of doing. And as simple as that. And he owes me 2 Premier League titles, Paul. And I'm not just saying that. The first 2 Premier League titles we would have won if Thomas Partey had been fit.
And I'll go into the comments in a minute, just on the chat. But yeah, look, don't get me wrong. As I say, there are times where he's let things go and let the club down. Yeah, we've just spoke about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, just something it just doesn't sit well. And yeah, look, everyone is looking out for the family and whatever like that. The last paid contract, I don't think it will be his last paid one. I think he'll get handsome offer somewhere else. Gone are the days now where you suddenly hit 33 and then suddenly you get that one and then suddenly you're going to go and retire. You can go and play handsomely in Dubai or in Saudi and just you could be 35, 37 and you could be walking around the pitch, I think, just in those kind of those leagues.
Paul, he's not professional enough to do that. Thomas Partey is not professional to do that. See, if you look at Ronaldo or you look at Ibrahimovic or like there's Mudryk. He's off the Mudryk. I'm saying I'm totally wrong, but anyway, fuck you. Anyway, you look at these players; they're so professional that they will go on and still sign new contracts. Within their late 30s, 40s, etc. Thomas Partey is not that. He has not took care of himself in any kind of way. There is absolutely no chance. This guy is another guy that is going to break down, regardless of where he goes. He will break down again. So
I mean, the other flip side, Mark, you could say, and obviously the big thing with a lot of fans I've seen. So obviously the announcement of Nørgaard coming in, everyone's like, "Oh, he's his replacement." And
no, it's not.
And you're like, well, why don't you give him the money for that contract renewal rather than paying him this? And you're suddenly thinking, well, hang on a minute, it doesn't quite work like that. And I don't know. It's just.
Paul, see the thing that people don't understand, right? Arsenal can, because of like financial fair play, and I'm trying to delve into it a little bit, but PSR actually means that there's a percentage of your wages to your income, and like that's one of the rules. It's fucked up. All these rules contradict each other, but for me, that one's there. Now, the last thing I saw, Arsenal sitting at 53%, so they're healthy. Aston Villa are sitting at 98%, and they're absolutely unhealthy. They're having to sell players left, right, and centre, or they're going to be deducted points. By the end of this month, they have to sell 3 players by the end of this month, or they're done. They are guaranteed to get done. So it's not like if we just go and give Thomas Partey 250 grand a week, we're pushing our percentage up. And then when you come to Gabriel, Saka, Odegaard, Saliba, you're also pushing up again. And then when you go to sign new players, you're pushing up again. So the percentage gets higher and higher and higher. And we're at a point where we can't actually we're in a very difficult situation where we might have to sell players to get that percentage back down.
Yeah.
When you go for a Nørgaard, different story. You're paying a transfer fee outright. It's totally off of that. It's absolutely the opposite to that. So that's gone. Nørgaard comes in. He's playing for Brentford. He's maybe on 80k a week, I'm guessing. Arsenal will give him maybe 120 2 year. Arsenal are bringing our percentage down again because the main fee is getting pushed away from Arsenal, and that is in the transfer fee. And people don't understand this at all, Paul. And it actually frustrates me when I'm like, I listen to people online. There is a package in rules. You have a sign on, you have a transfer fee, you have an agent's fee, you have the wages. All these need to be combined for a transfer. And then you have FFP and PSR coming in on that. You have the Premier
the wages
League.
don't account for with the transfer fees. You can amortise them as well, so you can push them over the contract period.
Exactly.
That's
Mbappe,
Real
Madrid.
That's why you had Chelsea.
Mbappe, Real Madrid. Real Madrid.
If someone's on 300 grand a week, that 300 million or 300,000 quid will be coming off your books as it is. There's no way of sugarcoating that.
But Mbappe signed for Real Madrid and he's on the massive wages. You tell me that Real Madrid did not go to Mbappe and say and drop him 100 mil, 200 mil, say there's the money, you're coming under our wage structure. Absolutely, they fucking did. Because if they didn't, Mbappe would be on £1 million a week, and that would have really hampered the club through PSR and FFP.
Yeah. I'd say the flip side of this would have been we go and pander to Partey's demands, and then lo and behold, we get through pre-season and he's out for 2-3 months.
Exactly, 100%.
And you look at it and you think, well, okay, maybe that shouldn't have been. And this is where the whole trust kind of comes from. And again, I 100% think that is probably the right way to do it and go about it. And just if there can't be any kind of 100% kind of assurance on it all, then that you're right to walk away and move on. That's me on him just in general. I think it's disappointing more than anything. He's a good player, but again, if he's demanding X and we're obviously offering Y and it's not amicable or wanted, we're pretty certain it's something decent. You know what I mean? We're not going to give him 2-3 grand a week, and it's going to be handsome enough. And you could say, chuck on, all right, we'll give you a little sign-on fee or whatever, just sweeten it up. Just, you know what I mean? Just if you wanted a 3-year contract, whatever, yeah, there you go. Here's a little fee on top of that over the 3 years.
But
that's
Paul. See the flip side of this, right? Arsenal are trying to win like the major competitions. Man City have got a policy at this moment in time. When someone reaches a certain age, they walk away from the club on a free. Kevin De Bruyne, Vincent Kompany, David Silva's still there, but there's more.
Gwen came back, didn't he?
Yeah, Gundogan. Like these players are like, this is a policy that they put in place. So Arsenal should follow suit. And I know that sounds controversial when we're bringing in Nørgaard at his age, but for me personally, like fuck off, Partey. You were a great player. You owe me 2 Premier League titles. And Paul, I will remember Thomas Partey for owing me 2 Premier League titles than Ozil for his shit at the back end of his career, or Aubameyang for turning up late for Tottenham. And honestly, I'm going to remember Partey. Like the next 10 years, it will be Thomas Partey for owing me 2 Premier League titles because you could not stay fit.
Yeah. Don't know. Yeah, it's everything. It's everything about it. Yeah. Don't put yourself in. This is why I really appreciate players like Saka, even like Odegaard. You don't hear about them in the press. You don't hear any negativity about it. They go about the business and they get it done, and it's nice. It's model professional. This is proper role model kind of stuff. You want your youngsters to grow up, and if they get into football, be like them. You don't want to have that negative kind of side of things where, yeah, you're always either talking to the media or whatever, or doing stuff you shouldn't be doing. You dedicate yourself to football. At the end of the day, it isn't about your social life, so to speak. So, yeah, disappointed, but look, we move on as a club, and yeah, we look for the next one, and yeah, we try and actually find that next Patrick Vieira. I think that's something we've still never found. Yeah, we thought we did with Diaby, but yeah, we still haven't got him. I'm just going to dip in the chat. Retro has put a funny one in. Yeah, we got now what? No, sorry. Yeah, so we got Nordgaard, Odegaard. All we need now is to get this Bugard to convert from tennis to football, and we can have a midfield full of guards. Yeah. That's a good one. If Garnacho is worth 70 million, then Reece Nelson worth 50 to 70. There's a lot of average fodder going for the same amount now. Yeah, look, I think it's about standing tall, as I think, and allowing to play hardball. I think for so long we've had such crap value for our players. Yeah, you look at it, we never got the right end of the deal whenever we were trying to sell players or not wanting to sell players, even our prized assets. No one for big money. Don't know. And then, yeah, Man United have polished a turd and then been trying to sell it for 40, 50 million. Oh, yeah, they are. Garnacho. Yeah. No, I don't know. There is a lot out there. And as I said, that means also there's a lot of red flags as well, because you could get caught up in there. Look at that Modric deal though. As I said, if we'd have paid 100 million for that guy, and to see how it's kind of unfolded, where he is, yeah, he might have been a better place being at Arsenal, and maybe this wouldn't have happened. But what a bullet potentially dodged there on that side. So yeah. Yeah, there's a lot going on there. And as I said, if we can push and we can keep going for Nelson and our players there as well, we can kind of hold out and say, "Well, I can't do it." I think the only problem, I think, Mark, is just their the contracts now. I suppose they're probably hitting their last years now, aren't they?
Yeah, they are.
Zinchenko. Yeah, Zinchenko, Jesus. Yeah. Don't know. Yeah,
Paul,
interesting, but
they take us to the next level. It's like we were at a very low level.
no, exactly. Yeah,
and like they took us to the next level. They've contributed to Arsenal Football Club, earning the money that Arsenal are taking in now. And like what I've not seen last year's reports, but from last season, obviously at this moment in time. But I would imagine Arsenal have taken in over 600 million from last season alone, one season. So we would have been, I would imagine, bringing in over like 200 million without Champions League. And when we were in the pits, when not Kieran Tierney's fault, but when Kieran Tierney came on, the club has been moving in the right direction all the way. And yeah, it's like it's time. We need to be able to cash in on players, and that's Berta's job also. That's his job also. So I don't want to lose Kivior. He would bring good money. I don't want to lose Martinelli. He would bring good money.
Yeah.
But the players like Tavares, I think that deal's done. I think it's over 20 mil. So that's not a bad handshake. We need to get rid of Nelson's and these guys as well, and bring money back into the football club. And that's part of Berta's job to do that. Us as fans, we do. As a podcast, we do need to speak about it. But us as fans, we don't have to worry about it. It's Berta's job to do that, and he's just in the door. So let him do it, and let's see where we are, Paul.
Yeah, no, that's it. He's got to do a job, and he's like I said. Look, Edu going in November totally derailed any kind of plans. I think in January, so this is why this proper refocus has to be big, strong, and look to the point. I mean, we know who we want to get. We know our targets. Get it done. And if the guy looks like there's no nonsense and straight to the point of what he wants to get. So yeah, let him get on, and the club go and do the job, and we'll obviously hopefully have those players signed. Retro also said, until they hold the shirt, don't believe anything or nothing. That's our Sesko, or Jokeres discussion, and we got Conker Junior watching on Facebook. We're screaming for goddamn depth, yet we're just going to let him walk. And this was about Thomas Partey. So yeah, look, he didn't please your dad. He wanted more money. So Brian,
can I just say to Brian, Brian, I'm screaming for depth on the podcast, but unfortunately, I've got you. Yeah, come back at me, bro. He's my American brother.
Can we agree that he'd help us win the league? Now, look, well, I don't think there's any doubt that.
Brian's got the sentimental value. Honestly, Paul, see if we go over to America, right, and we go into Brian's house, he's a holder. Like he clings on to like Kieran Tierney's Tesco bag or like turning up at training. Like this guy cannot move on. He needs to keep hold of everyone. And Brian's life's not that way, bro. And why are you on Facebook, by the way? I can see it. Why are you not in the chat on YouTube? Fucking Yanks.
Oh dear. Love you, Brian, and thanks for watching. Jeffrey Kondogbia, who Arsenal wanted to sign, would be better than Partey. Oh, sorry, who Arsenal was it? Arsenal that all that time ago. Kondogbia, or is that Arsenal? Would have been back in 2018. So yeah, well. Could have won this league. Look, you just look at just even those two, just such fine margins. Just just the small details. And we're talking about last season and saying just taking some of those draws, turn them into wins, and they're fine margins. But you look at the 2 seasons before that. Was it lose? Did we lose both by? Was it 7 points in total? Can't remember.
I think it was. Yeah, I think it is, Paul.
Against the juggernaut, and that's it.
Exactly, and you're one of your best midfielders. Paul, I've always argued the case that Thomas Partey in Arsenal is one of the best defensive midfielders in the freaking world. Yeah. We couldn't rely on him. He wasn't playing when we were up against a juggernaut.
No, that's it. But again, it was those periods when we kind of were crying out for it. But as I said, that Tottenham away game where it was like he was injured and he came back, didn't he? We brought him back into there, and then it was in the first half, and he comes off the pitch and he's just walked off the pitch. They've carried on. The game's still going on, and then Arteta's trying to push him back on the pitch to suddenly kind of either do something or like go down. It's like, well, he's just literally just given up and just pulled off and like wanted to just walk off. And you just look at it.
It's back to the days of Mustafi and etc. There really is back to the day.
Stop! That just made me shiver. Just mention that name and don't put that name and then defending alongside it, because that really is proper shuddering.
It is. I do apologise. I did it to like this. That's first I swim on the podcast.
Yeah, but no, I don't know. Yeah, thanks, Thomas. But yeah, look, it's time. It's time. Yeah, 100%. Go and get your pay packet. Yeah, we as a club move on. Arsenal bigger than just the one player. We've just got to find that new one now, that new player to come in. Hopefully, we've got it with Zubimendi. I'm hoping that
100%.
he's going to be that player that comes in and he's assured there, and can he break lines like Thomas Partey can and play those passes through those central areas. It will be interesting to see how he adapts. That's all I'm going to say on him. There's a lot of talk about him, but as I say, going to the Premier League is a different gravy. It'll either suit someone or it won't suit them. Again, the intensity, whatever. He's supposed to be a proper calm player. He looks calm whenever he plays. Let's see what he's like when he's up against some teams that are literally right up on him. You know, it's a big responsibility, that position, I think, on that side. So hopefully it'll fit in well, and I think everyone will kind of get around him and go through. But pre-season will be massively important, I think, just for the whole group. And then hopefully, I think we pretty much got everyone back apart from Tomiyasu and Jesus.
Yeah,
I think by pre-season, so when it all kind of kicks off, starts. So in a whole, that's pretty decent to start with anyway. We've got to get through until Christmas now to say, yeah, we've got no injuries, and hopefully have a couple of marquee signings. But yeah, Mark, I think an hour and 30, or nearly an hour 40 minutes. Do you want you've got a giveaway going on, haven't you?
I do have a giveaway going on. In the North Bank has a massive giveaway going on. We'll retweet it again, Paul, to get it out there. All you have to do is retweet. Tell me, I visited my first ever Champions League game. All I need you to do is tell me what stand I was in. The video is playing, and there's plenty of signs there to tell you where it was, so it's not a very difficult competition. Jump over to YouTube, hit the subscribe button, like, leave a comment, and you're into the draw. And Paul, they will win an Arsenal shirt with any name on the back, either home, away, third kit, and it's really as simple as that. It's really as simple as that. And we're posting worldwide. So if you want Thomas Partey on the back, if you're in Africa, go for it. Brian, if you want Kieran Tierney on the back, do that. And Paul, if you enter the competition and enter all your family's name on the back of the shirt, just to fucking bankrupt me, then on you go. But the competition is live, guys. It is live. So we will
retweet now.
Yeah, it's retweeted. I'll retweet it as well, guys. That's all you have to do. Is just go over, give us a sub, follow in the North Bank, follow me, and that's it. And it is like, I know a lot of competitions, people like make these competitions and then they make them not happen. I will make this happen. In the North Bank, we are genuine people. There'll be a random wheel. I'll be in there. Paul, you've not entered yet.
No, I'm giving others a chance. It's fine. I've got my eyes on Rodrigo number 10. I don't know if I'm pretty certain someone can ask for that. Yeah,
Here, I'll
they could
sign it.
get an
I'll sign
iconic
it for you. I'll
they could
sign
get an
it for you.
iconic shirt. Yeah, the first one ever made. Yeah, Rodrigo number 10.
No, that
Yeah,
has to be that has to be when we hit 10,000k on this, and I might give that away at that point, or I might just go into a frame and yeah, first one ever made is Big Mad. Your wife's a hell if you sign him and he gets a 10 shirt.
yeah, no. Let's hope we've got some more good news over the course of the next few weeks. I'm pretty certain there's something cooking over the next 10 days. I think yeah, don't I think Fabrizio come out and said something as well, didn't he? It's not going to happen over the weekend, but something's definitely happening. And he
Yeah.
referenced the Instagram like in Rosesco and Arsenal.
Right.
So yeah,
I want that. See if I get Sesko and I get Rodrigo, Paul. I'm just like I'm going to be like an absolute heaven.
you're walking around like you're just like a glowing helium balloon, be like that, just like cloud nine,
Yeah. It's like whatever shit goes on in my life, I don't
flipping
care.
around. Yeah,
Yeah. Whatever shit goes on in my life, I don't care. I've just signed to Rodrigo and Sesko. I'm like the happiest guy in this world. So I'm there. I'll do a polar reverse. I had to do a transfer deadline day, and we signed Raheem Sterling. So I'm like, the balance is like it's just absolute polarised. To like, yeah, as Brian would say, don't let water into the people cabin of a submarine. That was it for the Ben Sterling signed. So for me, it's like this is just a helium balloon or a ship going up in the sky, just perfect harmony. I needed to happen,
uh,
Paul.
yeah. Let's make it happen. Come on, Arsenal, pull your finger out. Uh,
I've
but
DM'd them. I've DM'd them, mate. I've DM'd
yeah, I
them.
know. Oh, yeah, it'll come, I'm sure. But yeah, look, thank you everyone for watching. Thanks to Mark for putting time in. I want to just say a big thank you as well to Richard and Des, who have been helping massively with the content along with Mark over the course of the last few months as well. Keep trying to push it out and keep things ticking along in my absence. It's been really appreciated and yeah, some good stuff going on. So thank you to everyone there who's been involved, not just guys as well, the other contributors that come on to fill the panels for the shows. As I say, if you're interested, if you're watching and want to kind of get involved on the shows, drop us a DM. Yeah, send us an email via the website, via YouTube, whatever, wherever you are. Yeah, come and get involved, and we'll have you on and able to talk Arsenal with you throughout this next season. So, yeah, it's been a good one, Mark. A good day for Arsenal, and yeah, let's hope there's another couple or maybe two or three other good days with some good signing news. But have a good night, and yeah, up the Arsenal, and yes, keep believing, everyone. Come on, you Gunners.
Come on, you Gunners.